Good morning, gentlemen. It's a wonderful time, and I'm in front of my villa. There's the sea all around. I'm going to talk to you about something very nice, something interesting. I'm going to talk about India's neighbor, that is Bangladesh, and the general election which has just taken place there. Now, let's examine one fact about Bangladesh. It is the carbon copy of West Bengal, that is, the Indian Bengal. And the people have the same culture, the same language. And before 47, it was one country before it broke into two away from India on the basis of religion. But religion itself is not a divisive force, is a uniting force. And despite both West Pakistan and East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh, having the same religion, the two broke. And Bangladesh became an independent country. But there was a bloodbath because there were people in Bangladesh who believed in the extremist philosophy, and these people went and executed the entire family of the father of the Bangladesh nation, that is Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This is one of the saddest events in world history when even small children of that family were executed. And the only persons who survived were the two daughters of Sheikh Mujib, who were out of Bangladesh, and that's how they survived. The others were just wiped out by a terrorist gang inspired by beliefs which are alien to human sense and nature. Well, that is known as the bloodbath of Bangladesh, and after that, the things didn't change. There were two army generals who took over, and one of them, General Zia, was assassinated, and he suffered a very gruesome death, in the sense his body was lying in the corridor for many hours before anybody picked it up for a funeral, and he was supposed to be the president of Bangladesh. Now, one of the daughters who survived the massacre against Sheikh Mujib was Sheikh Hasina. Now, here's a lady who's of dominance. I would put her in category of Margaret Thatcher, and she deserves all the accolades you can get. She came back to Bangladesh and rejuvenated the Awami Party, the party which her father had set up before his assassination, and was instrumental in fighting for an independent Bengali homeland, that is Bangladesh, which was earlier called East Pakistan. Gentlemen, now this is a very important point. The Awami Party began to take a grip over the country, but there were extremist forces, and among them were the BNP, the big Bangladesh Nationalist Party, led by the other lady who was the widow of General Zia, and she was pandering to extremist philosophy and anti-India sentiment and anti-Hindu sentiment, while Sheikh Hasina believed in secularism, and she was probably more closer to Kemal Ataturk than all the leaders in Bangladesh combined. The aim of those leaders, including the Jamaat, was basically to usher in back an Islamic rule in Bangladesh, throw Sheikh Hasina to the wolves, ask India to get out, and if possible, try and make accommodation with Pakistan. And as we all know, I won't go into details, they're all available on the internet. The Pakistanis had made thousands of women pregnant, the Pakistan army, which had to be aborted. And they had also created mayhem and murder, which besmirched the uniform of the Pakistan army. Well, to cut a long story short, they all surrendered, put their hands up. When the Indian army moved in, 100,000 of them said, "Save us, let us go happily." So they went happily. They were put in prison camp and sent to Bangladesh, to West Pakistan. And Sheikh Hasina tried to unite the country. But Begum Zia had her own ideas, and the earlier two generals also had their own ideas. They perhaps didn't know what they were doing because they'd been so much used to the service in the Pakistan army that it was in their mind that we must be with Pakistan subconsciously. Well, you know what happened to them? General Irshad was one of them, and he's facing corruption charges, and God knows, I think he's in jail. I'm not very certain about it. But the other man, the other general, was just executed by the revolutionaries. Gentlemen, now the question is, there has been a lot of progress in Bangladesh. Now I'll just examine that Bangladesh was the laggard as far as West Pakistan is concerned. Its per capita income was much lower than West Pakistan, but things have reversed. It is Pakistan which is in the doldrums. They are facing anarchy, they are facing hunger, they are facing a payment problem, their debts have mounted, while Bangladesh is in a better condition. It has been reliable exports, but at the same time, like in Pakistan, there are extremist groups in Bangladesh who would like to destabilize the country. They would like to, as I told you, put Sheikh Hasina in the Bay of Bengal, throw her out. And as usual, the Americans are fishing in troubled waters. That's part of the American character. You fish in troubled waters, look for some people whom you can support, and they have been serving ultimatums on Begums or Sheikh Hasina. They've been serving ultimatums on her to restore democracy. Now, what is restore democracy? I think the Americans have no democracy themselves. Look at the way they're treating Donald Trump. All trumped up charges against him just to ensure that he doesn't stand for election for president, because he's going to give a wallop to Joe Biden, and Biden does not know which side the wind is blowing. So you bring up some trumped up charges, and the American system is so bad that you don't know what the hell is going on there, you know. They talk of democracy. I think there's a need to clean the Augean stables in America. Somebody needs to go with a broom. You know, maybe someone like Narendra Modi go there and sweep the whole lot out. Biden and all these characters who are sitting there and creating mayhem and spreading anarchy in the world. So the American attempt has been to try to belittle Sheikh Hasina. They gave her some threats also that you resign before the election. I wonder how many times Biden is going to resign before the election. He's going to do it, or has any American president ever done it? But this was the suggestion they gave to Sheikh Hasina, so you can tell what sort of country that is. I don't have any respect for the American leadership. I have a lot of respect for the American people. But two distinct things. The American leadership is autocratic, dictatorial, creates murder, killing all over the world, and at home they say we are a democracy. And there also they catch people like Donald Trump who want the glory of America and put him in jail or something like that. They want to do something like that. Gentlemen, Sheikh Hasina is a woman of a different metal, and she realizes the value of India, and she is closely entwined with the Indian ethos and culture. So this election was important in the sense that it was going to give her another 5 years lease of life. She's been elected 4 times earlier. She's been prime minister for a long time, and now she's going to be prime minister again. And the election has taken place, and she has won the election, fair and square. Now there are a lot of people talking, you know. There are a lot of leaders have been put in jail, and the opposition is in jail, number one. Number two, the opposition has not accepted Sheikh Hasina. I mean, it's something similar to India, like the Indian opposition, you know, led by Rahul Gandhi and all these people. Look at the way they're mouthing profane words against the Indian Prime Minister, talking all nonsense. And in other words, and I remember just now in the morning I read a news item, I won't name that leader, he's a Communist Party leader, and he said, Narendra Modi has got an ethos which is equivalent to what Hitler was doing. It's a fascistic idea and thought. I mean, I could die laughing on a bed of nails at this statement by this communist leader. I think he doesn't know what fascism means. I think he should open the dictionary, read it. And he should read what Hitler did. He killed 60 million Jews. You think Modi is doing anything like that? I mean, one could be so absurd. So there's no dearth of fools in the world, and the Communist Party is one of them. And the same type of parties in existence in Bangladesh. The same type of people are there who are denigrating Sheikh Hasina. They have gone on a boycott of the elections. Well, this is one of the best ways to do it, and our opposition in India could also do the same thing. When you have no chance of winning an election, you're not going to lose. So you say we are going to boycott the election. You're going to lose in any case. That is the clue, gentlemen. Sheikh Hasina has got tremendous support in Bangladesh, which is moving forward. And I would say that all like-minded people must back her, because the alternative is very, very terrible, like it is in India. You know what the Congress did in 70 years of rule. They reduced India from being the number one power in Asia to a non-entity. That is what the credit is to the Congress Party, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and all these so-called great leaders, That is their contribution. It required Narendra Modi, like Ganesh, to come and restore order. And the same thing goes with Bangladesh. After the mayhem, murder, killing of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and mind you, he was a man who opposed Pakistan, and before that he had been sentenced to death by a Pakistan special court, and he was being jailed and kept in Pakistan to be hanged before independence was declared, and the Pakistan army said, hands up. I don't think Pakistan like to remember this particular episode of the surrender, the public surrender of the Pakistani generals in the Dhaka race course. Well, that's a fact of life. You can see the photographs now. So, gentlemen, the elections in Bangladesh are over. Sheikh Hasina in. It's a legitimate election despite what the Americans are talking, and we could just listen to what the Americans say from this year, send it out from the next year. Because America is more concerned now, should be rather more concerned with what's happening in the Middle East, where they're backing Israel against Hamas, what's happening in Ukraine, where they're on the back foot, their allies doesn't know which side the wind is blowing, and the Americans should also be worried about what's going to happen in Korea, where recently Kim On-jong launched a massive bombardment of one of the island settlements of South Korea. Well, gentlemen, I have been to Bangladesh. I was in Dhaka for some time. It's a wonderful place. It's a teeming city, and there's a lot to be done in Bangladesh. There's a lot of poverty there, and these are the things that should be addressed instead of going and talking about somebody talking about Jamaat and Islamization of Bangladesh and all that. It's all a lot of BS. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll close now and say goodbye. God bless. In the meanwhile, make it a point to subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and come back for more. I'll come back again and talk to you on various other topics. Bye-bye and God bless.